Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our second meeting for today, our June 23rd, 2026 regular meeting. Had a little bit of transition going on. So first of all, I want to open this meeting with a moment of silence for a member of the family here at the SSC who passed away. So I want everyone to recognize Miss Patrice Royale, who works in our HR department, a lovely, kind soul that's going to be missed by many. So if we could have that moment of silence, please. Thank you for that. And now, for the reading of the district vision is Mr. Tatum, who will follow that reading with our invocation.
The School District of Manatee County will be an exemplary student-focused school system that develops lifelong learners to be globally competitive. And so I pitched 3 times to get a pastor, and I struck out 3 times. So I'm going to have to go down and do this invocation myself. So here we go.
We're blessed to have you.
Sandy?
Yes.
Yes, please. Please stand.
Yes, please stand.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this evening we ask our Lord to put a blessing upon the Royale family, give them peace, surround them with your saints, Lord, as they go through this difficult time. We lift them up in prayer to you for the things that they will need to continue on in their life with grace and mercy for the whole family. We also ask for a blessing on this country, Lord. We're grateful that for 250 years you have brought us peace and prosperity. So may the Lord bless and keep us. May he make his face to shine upon us, and may he bring us prosperity and peace. God bless us. And God bless this greatest country on God's green earth as we celebrate our 250th birthday, the United States of America. Amen.
Amen. Okay, and Ms. Superintendent.
Yes,
You can be
ma'am.
seated.
Thank you. Tonight, we're honored to welcome United States Navy veteran Ron Baker to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Baker served 5 years in the U.S. Navy and achieved the rank of Petty Officer Second Class. He was assigned to the USS Abraham Lincoln based out of Everett, Washington. He served in Operations Iraqi Freedom and Southern Watch. During his military service, he earned the National Defense Service Medal, Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Navy Meritorious Unit Commendation, Humanitarian Service Medal, Presidential Unit Citation, and there are many more beyond that. So thank you, sir, for your service. Mr. Baker is the manager of Stewart Elementary School's Starlight Cafe. My son attended Stewart and remembers him very well. Please join me in thanking Ron Baker for his service and welcoming him to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And he's joined by his daughter, a Stewart Elementary graduate and future King Middle School student.
Stewart Stars.
Yes. Your daughter can come right on with you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sir, before you leave, and I know you have dinner waiting,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you for your service to our country. Thank you for your service to the school district and all that you do.
Thank you. I'm very humbled and thank you for everything. It's been 17 years of your service. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
It's always great when we bring in our own veterans. It's very special. Okay, item number 5, approval of the agenda. Again, we added some presentations and/or recognitions to the agenda. Looking for a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Kennedy, a second by Mr. Choate. As Ms. Cox is directing us through this process, we appreciate that.
My bad. My bad.
Not signed
I
yet.
hit my motion button
Okay.
by mistake.
And my screen's just locked up.
You gotta go out and come back.
I did. Okay. I'm a yes as well, so I'll sign out and come back in. All right. And I'm guessing that passes 5-0, although I only see
I don't have it,
Mr. Tatum.
because I haven't joined the meeting yet. No, that works. Okay. There we go.
Yes, please. Again, for the public, we were transitioning from workshop to board meeting, and we all had to sign out and get dinner.
In about 7 minutes.
Yep.
Which was delicious, by the way. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Item number 6, Superintendent.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. The superintendent recommends approval of the minutes of the May 12, 2026 meeting and meeting of the Leasing Corporation May 26, 2026 workshop and June 9, 2026 school board meeting minutes.
So move.
Second?
Okay. My system is not loading up, Ms. Cox, so this is going to be a little difficult. So we have a motion by Mr. Joe
Yep.
and a second by Mr. Kennedy.
Yes, ma'am.
All those in favor, vote or raise your hand.
Aye?
And that will pass, I'm a yes, 5-0. Okay, item number 7, student celebrations, always a good time too.
Good evening, School Board Chair, Vice Chair, School Board members, Superintendent, Jamie Carson. Sunday was Father's Day, so in honor of our upcoming country's 250th birthday, as well as Father's Day, I thought I would change it up this evening, and instead of doing a pun, I would offer a dad joke. So to kick off this evening, we're going to start off with a dad joke. So I like knock knock jokes. So the dad joke is, why doesn't America knock?
Why doesn't America knock?
You give?
I don't know, Jamie, if
No
I was
idea.
American.
Because freedom rings.
Yes.
That's a good dad joke.
Thank you.
dad joke.
Thank you. I'll be here all night. So starting for tonight's recognitions, we are very lucky to have a special guest student author in our midst, a rising sophomore at Lakewood Ranch High School. Georgia completed 9th grade in the top 10% of her class. She's also a part of the AP Capstone program at Lakewood Ranch, and she's interested in attending either FSU or University of Miami to study corporate law. She beat out the entire state to win the America 250 Florida Essay Contest.
Wow.
Very exciting. I'd also like to point out that Georgia's mother, is another fabulous Jamie. Her mother, Jamie, teaches at Nolan Middle School. So we are very excited to have them both here with their family. And at this time, I'd like to invite Georgia to come up and share her award-winning essay, which is also attached to the agenda, so you should have a copy. Thank you.
During the years that followed the Civil War, the United States sought to become an industrialized nation. Henry B. Plant played a leading role in the transformation that occurred in the American South. His railroads and steamships connected Florida to national and global markets, changing the state's future for the better. By improving new methods of transportation, he initiated a new age in tourism and commerce and assisted the military in the defense of our nation. Because of this, Henry Plant is an excellent example of the American Federalist values of patriotism and prosperity. A strong Federalist viewpoint is that land value rises in proportion to commercial growth. This is seen in the Federalist Papers number 12, when Alexander Hamilton argues that thriving commerce is the most productive source of national wealth. It has been found in various countries that in proportion as commerce has flourished, land has risen in value. Before Henry Plant, Florida was sparsely populated and highly inaccessible. Plant brought railroads to Florida, connecting the inland to the west coast. As Plant's railroads expanded, the land, which was previously considered worthless, became highly valuable. These projects led to a 96% increase in population between 1880 and 1900. But Plant didn't stop there. He had a vision to establish a continuous means of travel from the north to Cuba. The way to do this was by developing a steamship line. The steamships provided rapid and reliable transportation linking Florida to Cuba, the Caribbean, and the eastern seaboard, driving a massive growth in tourism. Plant's work directly mirrored Hamilton's principles by strengthening nationwide commerce and industrial expansion. Patriotism is another Federalist principle exhibited by Henry Plant. In the 1880s, Plant built the Port of Tampa to secure its position as a major transportation hub in the Western Hemisphere. He also constructed the Tampa Bay Hotel, which became a major tourist attraction in the state of Florida. In 1898, the United States was developing a plan to invade Cuba during the Spanish-American War, and Plant convinced the U.S. government to use his port and his hotel as headquarters for the U.S. Army. As a result of this war, the U.S. emerged as a great power on the world stage, further strengthening our government, which was so vitally important to the Federalists. Plant proved his patriotism by sacrificing personal profits for the good of the nation. Former President George Washington stated in his farewell address, "The name of the American must always exalt the pride of patriotism." Henry Plant exhibited these traits by foregoing personal gain and instead put his country first, a decision which would have made President Washington proud. Henry Plant's contributions not only led to significant commercial and population growth in Florida, but also advanced our nation both economically and militarily. Our nation was founded upon these principles of patriotism and prosperity. Thank you.
Well done.
Awesome. What a great job.
At this time, we'd like to invite Georgia and her family for a group photo with the
Of
board.
course.
Of course.
I finally got it.
If you go behind there. I'll do both. Here. We do have one more recognition, and my apologies, it's not on the agenda. This is hot off the press, or should I say like fresh off the weld. Out of 31 submissions across the state from secondary schools, technical colleges, and Florida college system institutions, our very own Manatee Technical College struck gold. There was a welding competition the Florida Department of Education did, supporting and workforce planning, showing off the welding programs across the state. And our team, the structure that you saw on social media, they won first place in the People's Choice. So it's very fitting that their structure titled "We the People" won the People's Choice Award, and we are very, very excited about that. And we also like to thank all the community members that voted for this particular project to help us earn that title.
Very good.
That's
I'm
a
so glad.
really cool project.
It is. I promoted that picture highly throughout, so I'm so glad. Thank
That-
you so much.
That concludes our recognitions. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. On to item number 8. Board, I want to ask for consideration. We do have a public commenters that are on a specific item. I don't know if you want to allow them to talk now or just move on to the normal procedure.
You're the chair. It's your,
Yeah,
it's your
it's
call.
up to you. I don't care either way.
I think we can allow them to come up and speak. It's just they're going to make their comments. We won't dialogue, of course, but I would like to give them that courtesy. It's been a long day for everyone. And so I'd like to call up Fernando Eldestein. I hope I said that right.
Yes. This is great, very nice, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name's Fernando Edelstein. The handout in front of you will also be emailed today to my county commissioner requesting their naming scope expand to include Mike DePalmer Sr. I'm here today along with the Honorable Judge Robert Ferentz to provide an overview as to why this park should be named DePalmer Bollettieri. I ask you to please review all the supporting documents submitted with the naming form to fully understand the entire history. To start, the county commissioners have submitted a motion to name this park after Nick Bollettieri. We're in agreement, except there's more to the story, and this historical piece of land. I first learned about the consideration of the park naming back in January 2024. That's when our mission started. Mike DePalmer Sr., along with his then young daughter Michelle, are solely responsible for bringing Nick Bollettieri to Manatee County. This location was the start of a partnership between two men that were truly pioneers and visionaries. Together, they changed the game of tennis and the landscape of Manatee County forever. Our area became known as Tennis Mecca. In the 70s, DePalmer Bollettieri Academy in Bradenton, Florida was opened at the location we're discussing today. Along with the tennis club, a motel was purchased on Manatee Avenue to house the students, and an old school bus provided the transportation needs. These gentlemen became renowned tennis coaches, mentors, and incredible motivators. Their teaching surpassed just the game of tennis. It also involved life lessons. Mike DePalmer Sr., after graduating Florida State University with a Bachelor of Science degree in education, was hired as head basketball coach and assistant football coach at Manatee High. He also served as basketball coach at Manatee Junior College. In 1980, he left the DePalmer Bollettieri Academy to become the head tennis coach and assistant athletic director at University of Tennessee. Nick continued the academy, now named Nick Bollettieri Academy, NBTA. Eventually, NBTA was sold and is now known as the IMG Academy. This had a true domino effect that left a long-lasting impact on Manatee County. The park's location is where the first and most important domino fell. This is our opportunity to recognize this historic site and park properly. If we don't name this park after both these great men, then we've missed the boat. DePalmer-Bollettieri Park. Knowing both these great gentlemen personally as we did, there's no question they should be named together. They both would have wanted this. This is the place and time to recognize a well-deserved honor for what these men contributed to Manatee County. Nick's Facebook post after the passing of Mike Sr. truly expressed how he felt about their long-lasting friendship and impact Sr. had on him. We ask you strongly consider our recommendation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Farrance?
I'll defer. I only did that just in case the bell rang too soon.
Oh, okay.
So I agree with everything, and I'll reiterate it, but we can talk about more after when it's under public consideration. All right. So,
Thank you so much.
all good.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Little whistle.
Set the stage.
Okay. Thank you, Board, for allowing you to do that. We are on to item number 9, consent. Superintendent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The superintendent recommends approval of the consent agenda for the school board meeting June 23rd, 2026.
So moved?
All second?
We have a motion by Mr. Kennedy, a second by Ms. Felton. And I am live again, Ms. Cox, so. Okay. And that passes 5-0. Takes us to item number 10, public comment that we just did. Correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So I think we're beyond that. There was no new business pulled for consideration. New business non-consent is item 12.1. That's where we're at. For the consideration of naming the property that the two public commenters just spoke about. So Superintendent?
The superintendent recommends approval to advertise naming of the courts and the park adjacent to Martha B. King Middle School.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Kennedy, a second by Mr. Choate. And I will look to see if we have any speakers on this item. Again, this is for advertising only. It is not the actual voted item.
And Madam Chair, if I may,
Please.
to clarify, the courts would be named the De Palmer Voluntary Courts.
Correct. And that's what we're advertising, the courts.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have the motion to advertise and the second. I don't think there is. I don't have anybody lit up. And that item will pass 5-0. Item 13 was our very own superintendent evaluation. So we're at 13.1. Looking for a motion to accept.
So move.
I will second.
I have a motion by Mr. Choate, a second by Ms. Felton. And if there are any board members that would like to sing the praises, I can see one lit up. Mr. Choate.
I'll just say thanks for all the evidence you presented and things like that. Is very organized in a good manner, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, it was good. Ms. Felton.
Well, this was my first superintendent evaluation, so I have no idea what to base it on. But Dr. Breslin and I figured it out between us, as we were the first ones to meet, and neither one of us had done this before. So
Very true. Very
it
true.
was
That's true.
kind of a conversation of, so what do we do now? But thank you very much. Your report of all of your information was excellent and very well put together. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that.
And I just want to say, I think you've done an exceptional job of transitioning from being a director at the PSC to coming down here and leading the district.
Thank you.
And as I had our conversation, I based my evaluation not only on what you have done, but by feedback that I've gotten from community members, principals, teachers, and even students. So it was all good, and we look forward to all the good things that you're going to bring to the district in the future.
Well,
So thank you
very
for that.
much. I appreciate that.
So we have, see if I got anybody else. Mr. Tatum.
Ditto. We got it earlier, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
truly, I mean, ditto, that's what I really mean. You've actually done a really good job over the last year. I wouldn't say you've done better than I expected you to do. It's just you're new, and I feel like you've probably been in the job maybe a year or two instead of your first year. So you seem to be, I guess you would call it exceeding my expectations.
Well,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah,
I
you're
appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Oh, I'm
I don't
sorry,
want to be the
didn't
only
see
one
you.
who doesn't,
Oh, yeah, you don't want to be.
heap praise upon the
I was
superintendent.
wondering, Mr. Kennedy.
No, I mean, I said mostly what I had to say in my evaluation to you. I was glad when the agenda got published to see that the other board members were all on the same page, and that makes for a really strong team heading forward. Is when we're all looking in the same direction, we're all on the same page. But Laura, you're just one of those people that just, no matter what you would have decided to do in life, you would have done it well, and you would have
Yeah.
kind of risen up. And of course, you've done that with this job as well. I really appreciate, to Mrs. Spray's point, the really, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of the outpouring of positivity that has come out of this district since you've become superintendent. And obviously, it was kind of a tough summer to get through. But you made it through that. And, if you remember, I was kind of, I don't want to say celebrating, but I was really looking forward to you becoming superintendent, and you kind of hit the brakes on me and said, hey, we don't have anything to celebrate yet. We've got work to do. And you've done, and you were right. And we've still got more work to do from here.
Sure.
But your first year has gone really, really well. And not just the, your work ethic and the way you get along with all employees of the district, no matter what level they are. But your communication skills especially have just been very much appreciated on my end. And because I always feel like, I am never surprised at a board meeting. I always am very well prepared by you and your team. And that's for me as a board member, like one of the biggest things I can ask for, please just make sure I'm in the communication loop. And you do that beautifully, and you always have. So,
Thank you.
thanks, Madam Chair.
And if I may just say that
Yes.
I couldn't do what I do without this team, the ones that are in this room, ones that aren't in this room. They've made the first 9 months easier. I'm not going to say easy, but easier. And we do have a lot to accomplish, but it is an honor to serve in this position and to serve this school district. So thank you.
Okay. And that looks like it passes 5-0. Yep. Okay. No other public commenters, since we let that go. Information only, there's really not a whole lot there. So we are to item number 16, updates, instructions. Ms.
Good evening.
Welcome back. Hope
Thank
you
you.
had a
Welcome
good time.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
So, Chair Spray, board members, Superintendent Breslin, I just have a couple instructional updates as we reach the end of June and are awaiting DOE releasing assessment and school grade data here in the looming couple weeks. As far as summer programs go, as you know, many of our students are participating in our summer programs and learning opportunities, including our SOAR and 4 Lab and SOAR programming as well. At our event, our SOAR 4 big event at the Bishop in June, we had 732 attendees at that event.
Yeah.
And then in the SOAR Lab itself, in May, we had 1,448 visitors to the lab. And here in June, as of today, we have 1,648 visitors to the lab. So just a huge outpouring of interest and engagement with our SOAR Lab. And you know how special that place is. So we're excited to see the community embracing it and taking advantage of it during the summer. As a reminder to families, there are no summer programs next week, the week of the 29th through the 3rd. Title I summer camps end at the end of this week. And then our summer reading camp will run through July 16th. It currently has 395 students enrolled.
Awesome.
Our summer bridge and extended school year, they'll run through July 16th as well. ESY has 267 students participating in it. And then summer VPK runs through July 28th, and we have 52 students attending the summer VPK. I want to reiterate the congratulations to MTC for winning first place in our People's Choice Award for their amazing sculpture. But additionally, we're celebrating a lot at MTC this week. As you know, we have big graduations. We have had a fire class graduation on Monday, have another tomorrow, a law enforcement graduation this evening, and summer graduations for other programs in the AM and PM on Thursday. So a lot going on at MTC this week. Thank you.
It is. Thank you so much. And operations.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr.
Good
Clark.
evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, board members, Dr. Breslin. Brief update. So food and nutrition services, the summer food service program has served 90,522 meals in the first 3 weeks. So it's safe to say we're cooking. Maintenance and operations
Dun-dun-dun. Yeah.
is currently busy preparing schools for the upcoming year. Kind of referenced some of those things in the 5-year cap workshop just a little bit ago. Some of the main things: fire alarm replacements, roof replacements, floor replacements, painting schools. So quite busy out there. So as you travel around, you may see some of these things happening. And then today, safety and security headed up by Mr. D'Amico, we had a joint partnership with the EMC, so that's the Manatee County Emergency Management Group. We conducted a full-scale tornado exercise that was held at Braden River Middle School, and the reunification was at Bayside Community Church. So thank you for them allowing us to host it there. The event was attended by school district staff, so we had a number of principals, directors, cabinet, MTC students participated, law enforcement, sheriff's department, public works, fire departments around the county, EMS, Bayside Community Church, Salvation Army, parent and student volunteers. So it was very packed crowd, and just want to say thank you to those groups for participating. The purpose of the exercise was designed to provide a realistic hands-on opportunity to practice reunification procedures. That's where we reunite students with kiddos when we have a major event, emergency event on a campus, and then all of a sudden we need to move students to another campus so the parents to meet up with those kids. It's a major process. You can imagine how terrifying and that can be for parents. But we wanted to make sure had good practice in that so that we can be ready if something were to happen. We pray nothing ever happens, but we want to be prepared. So the goal of the exercise was to strengthen coordination between those agencies I referenced earlier. So we're coordinating with the Sheriff's Department, right? We're at EMS. Our bus department was out. They came over and had to pick up kids and deliver them to Bayside. So I'm here to say it was a success. Went really well. It was pretty hot this morning. I don't know why Mr. Miko picked the hottest day of the year to have this exercise. We were outside, but well attended, and we accomplished our goal. So just wanted to note that. Thank you.
Sounds like it was a very intense training, real life.
Real life, yes, ma'am.
That's awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome that they put that together, the whole
Good
county
coordination.
and district.
Yeah,
That's what partnership's about.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Is that all, Mr. Clark?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Legal, Mr. Dye over there.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted so bad when Judge Ferentz was rambling to telling me he was out of order. And sit down.
What's your chance?
But he's retired, but he's still a senior judge, and he still sits on occasion, and so I decided not to do that. He was my tennis coach when I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
So, well, in the consent items, I think I read every one of those contracts, all 36.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. Things going smoothly with the general counsel work, and there's still some more contracts we've got to get through during the summer to be ready for next year, but no real glitches. Everything's getting a careful look over, and I think it's running well. So
Perfect.
that's my report.
Thank you so much. Superintendent?
Thank you, ma'am. Board members, yes, Mr. Dye, thank you so much for your help. We did have 36 consent items on that. Some of those key items, the renewal of our school resource officer agreements, and hats off to our future law enforcement officers graduating at MTC tonight, right now as we speak. Incredible program and preparation, and thank you, board, for supporting the renewal of those agreements. We also had several workforce and education partnership agreements, including with Career Source Suncoast and the YMCA. Numerous agreements with our healthcare partners supporting Manatee Technical College. Several operational for landscaping, technology, and then we went on to some capital for improvements at Manatee High, Bayshore High School, also continuing the work being done at Rangeland and Rye Ranch Elementary School. I was able to walk both Rye Ranch and Veterans last week to see the progress. We have furniture coming later in July for those campuses, and I know we have teachers really excited to see their new classrooms, as well as principals excited to welcome their families. And then we saw some savings, both for some work at Williams and the Matsky Tower, resulting in about $600,000 coming back into the district accounts. We always like to see that. Nice job, Mr. Clark. Board members, just anyone watching the meeting, we had a workshop previous to this where we discussed our strategic plan. It's coming along really nicely, led by Mr. Chapman and his team. The budget, thank you, Mrs. Sellers, for all of the work on that, and Mr. Clark with the capital plan. That workshop was very lengthy, from 2 to 5:30 right at the start of this meeting. And so anyone who missed those important presentations, I would urge you to go back and look at those. We have a workshop in July 14th, where we'll talk about our Para to Pro program. We'll continue the work on the strategic plan. And then we'll also talk about our partnership, longstanding partnership with the Chamber and all of the amazing work they do to support our students to become ready for the workforce and driving what our community needs. And then we'll talk about some curriculum we're bringing to high schools to answer some of the community requests with financial literacy and those soft skills to help develop our graduates to be college and career ready. And then board members, again, just my really sincere appreciation. The evaluation process, although it was a quick agenda item tonight, we met several times and talked about expectations, progress. I was able to sit with each of you individually on several occasions to talk about that process. We will sit down again after we do our strategic plan, we'll sit down and talk about expectations moving forward to make sure that we're meeting the expectations of the board. And your feedback is invaluable You see things and hear things all over this district, so I thank you for giving that continuous feedback. We talked about feedback in the workshop. It does make us all work better and stronger when we have that, so thank you for that. And finally, happy 4th of July. We won't be back in this room until after the 4th, and so I'm very excited to celebrate the 250th anniversary of this great country. I was born in 1976, and so my mom always tells me that's how she remembers my birth year. So looking forward to celebrating the 4th with family and continuing on another great 50 years of excellence in this country. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, board members, Felton, Kennedy, Choate, Tatum, and myself.
Okay, so I have been visiting summer programs, having a great time with that. I have been to, I think, 6 of them. One of them is the Smarten Up camp that was being held at Braden River. Lots of arts stuff going on, singing, dancing, creating, all sorts of great things there. TSA STEM summer camp at King Middle School. I went over to the camp's STEAM field trip. They brought a bunch of kiddos out to Anna Maria Elementary School to get to explore and see great stuff that they don't normally get to see at their own schools. And then I went out to Myakka Elementary School, so I've been to Anna Maria and Myakka in a week to go see the summer program they were having out there. This morning I was at the Dive Into Reading program that is held at the Anna Maria Oyster Bar restaurants and Gecko's restaurants. And something that occurred to me today that I wanted to mention is that, you know, these programs aren't just put on by our school district. Right. It's not just our teachers, who are fabulous and I love them, but they also are done with partnerships through businesses and community organizations. Just for Dive Into Reading today, you've got Oyster Rock Hospitality, which owns all the restaurants where these take place. Patterson Foundation is involved in that. The Early Learning Coalition provided books for all of the kids. They get a book every time they come. We've got volunteer teachers who come. We've got volunteers from the community who come in and sit with these kids every day to read with them. Everything from retired teachers to business leaders to high school students across the gamut. And I'm always impressed with the involvement of our community in things for education. Just, you know, whether it's a retired person coming into a school and working with a kiddo, or it's a massive company, you know, providing backpacks and resources to our kids who need them. We have such an amazing community in Manatee County and so many organizations that work together, and I never really understood how many there were, particularly you know, just being in a classroom all day. You don't get to go out there and see all the organizations that help to contribute to the learning of our kids. And until I got on the Children's Services Advisory Board and realized how many organizations we have in our county, and the ones that I see every week are just the ones that are asking for county funding. That doesn't count all the other ones that get funding from other places. So I'm actually also on a mission now to visit all of our nonprofits that the CSAB funds, because I can't see them during grant time. I have to go in the off season. So I'm starting that this summer as well, and I'll try and hit as many of them as possible in the fall. But we have an amazing community, and they do so much for our kids. You know, even if it's just, you know, I went to, with Mr. Tatum and Ms. Spray, we went to visit the Juvenile Detention Center, or not the Juvenile Detention Center, the jail, our students that are in the jail program up there. And they had a teeny tiny library, and former English teacher, I felt that they needed more books. So I put out 2 posts, one on a teacher page and one on my own Facebook page, and I ended up with probably, somewhere in the realm of 800 books.
Awesome.
That all ended up in my minivan, and I had to take multiple trips over to the PSC to deliver them to Ms. Lyons, who then made sure that they got to the jail.
Oh, you didn't take them straight to the jail yourself?
No, they had to go through
No, I'm
stuff.
just teasing.
But I would have, because they were already in my minivan.
Oh, sure.
But just 2 Facebook requests, and I got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. I had to take multiple trips to get them all so that I could get them there so that the kids could have these books. And just that outpouring from the community was just absolutely amazing to me. It warms my heart to see how invested our community is into helping our district, which is, to Mr. Choate's point earlier, why we have such an incredible district. It's not just the teachers and the staff and the district staff over here and us 5 people sitting up here making decisions. It takes our entire community, and the outpouring and the love that our community has for our public schools still amazes me every day. So really, that's really all I wanted to say, and just to thank the community for their continued support of our schools, of our kids. I am so incredibly proud of every child in this district and every staff person and teacher and secretary and custodian and bus driver and mechanic and every other person who I can't name for all you do for our kids, because us 5 and Dr. Breslin don't run the show. I mean, we run the show with, finger quotes here, but it takes every single person in every single building and all the people out in the community to really do all the great things that we do here. And I just want to thank everybody for that, as we are, now that we've officially ended the school year and are prepping for the next one. Please keep at it. We appreciate you. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Kennedy.
Next, okay.
Yep.
Heather, I really appreciate your, still almost 2 years in, your enthusiasm, because me being the old head up here, sometimes I take things for granted, or I'm, maybe lost my edge a little bit. And then I see you, and you're so excited about everything you do and everywhere you go. I'm like, I remember when I used to be like that. And it gives me
like this in 4 years.
Okay. And it just it gives me hope again. Not that I don't have hope, but you know what I mean. Like it fills me with some energy that I don't otherwise have. So thank you for that. And as you were speaking, I too was kind of flashing back to Chad's comment at the end of the workshop, and about how I would suggest, if you're listening to this or watching this, go watch for yourself, because it was a powerful statement about how this district is a key part of the success of this county as a whole. And as this board has talked about many times, we are in an environment in education where we have to compete, and we have to perform and produce results and have good programs and create things that are attractive to get families to choose us, and not a private or a family scholarship, family empowerment scholarship, or a charter. And I had never really thought of it in that context, but I thought those words were very, very powerful. So, Chad, thank you for that. Madam Chair, I really am impressed. I thought you set a record at our last meeting, but here we are 45 minutes after starting this one. So I think you might have broken your own record.
Oh, my goodness.
So, you've really done an excellent job as chair since you've become chair. And I know you'll continue to do so, but I just appreciate your leadership and your the way you represent us, this board as a whole, out in the community. And Mr. Tatum, I was hoping that before the filing deadline, I was wondering if you might change your mind at the last minute, but now it has passed, and then you made mention of it tonight. Well, we're talking about all these things, and but wait a minute, I'm not even going to be here. So, but here you are, kind of. What's that called when the plane comes in? Like the entry path or glide path?
Final approach.
Final approach. Thank you. You're on your final approach, but you're still asking great questions, and you're still deeply involved, and that's to be commended to. So got many more meetings together, so this is certainly not a goodbye. But and as I said earlier, Superintendent Breslin, you just knocked it out of the park this year, and I know you'll continue to do so. When I saw on the when we were doing the sales tax, so that was the capital budget presentation. It said on the sales tax, to be renewed or expires June 30th, 2032. And I just had a mental note, I hope Dr. Breslin's still here when that's when we got to put that on the ballot at the presidential election of 2032. So I know you got a lot of good things to come. So And to the rest of the team, thank you guys for always keeping us up to date as well, and just being really good people. So it's nice when you work somewhere and you really like and respect the people you work with. So, and we are fortunate to have that. So that's it for me, Madam Chair. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
And happy 4th to everybody. I'm a 1969 baby, so I'm a man on the moon baby. Well, I guess there was a lot going on in '69, but that's, you're a bicentennial baby. I'm a Neil Armstrong baby. So okay, now that's it. I promise. I'll shut up.
I'm an 80s baby.
Chad's the youngest one of us.
Yeah. Let's take
84 was
this
a
to
great year, I heard.
Go for it.
Yeah, 74.
Just thank you, staff, for putting this all together. Obviously, we had a lot of consent and a whole lot of new stuff that we spoke about, but consent was great. Workshop was fantastic. Probably one of the, I really enjoyed the pre-meeting to the workshop where we got to really talk and have some questions about the capital plan, et cetera. So that was something I thought new this year. We had not done that since I'd been on the board, where we got together prior, which I thought was great. And I think it helped in the workshop because we've got some things we've got to obviously decide and some big projects. I want to say thank you to not only Dr. Breslin, but the staff as well. There's a lot of times where I'm sure other board members are like this too, and I've told this to Dr. Breslin before, I'm one of those that comes with like ideas and things all the time, and you guys are probably like, oh, here we go. Like here's Chode again, like with something else. And I do want to say thank you for being gracious and listening, even though in your head you may be like, this guy. But I do think there are some things, Mr. Kennedy, you brought it up, that in the era we're in, and this is something from FSBA, we spoke about in the last briefing about what FSBA did a couple weeks ago in our with our conference, and they usually have themes, right? So I think December, it was like AI was the big theme, and everything was centered around AI and how we're incorporating that. And this one, I felt like this last one was about how are we going to adapt as districts, right, to the ever-changing environment that is education. And I think that there's some unique ways and some challenging ways, and it's not going to be easy. And there are some ideas that I had that I said it's not going to be easy, but I think if we don't go after and change some of the thinking that we just have always done it this way, and if we don't give what some families are looking for, we're gonna lose students, right? And I think we've done a very good job in this district, as I said in the workshop, of coming together and providing really great programs, and I think the parents see that. And I think we can continue to still do that and also operate a little bit outside of the box, right? And I'm not going to get into too much of the stuff that's for the team to figure out and you guys but I do believe we got to make sure we're on the cutting edge and provide the best education. And some of that best education, we've talked about this before, I know Mr. Chatham has, is not always just 7:30 to 2 o'clock, right? That may not be the best schedule for everybody. So anyways, just thank you all, the staff, for being, adaptable a little bit and be willing to listen and maybe make some changes and do some stuff, because it is not always easy. Speaking of kind of community coming together, last time we met, we all ran over to the city park groundbreaking, and I think that's going to be an extremely significant change to the city of Bradenton and the Central Corridor. If you look at that project between not only the school district, the county, and the city, and so the three major government entities, but also between private industry like the Pirates, other industries and stuff, the sheriff's office with PAL. I think you're going to see something very significant there. And not only we're going to be able to provide some things, but I think it's going to be able to change, hopefully, the culture there, and which obviously Ballard and Rogers sit right there in that vicinity. So that was exciting to see the groundbreaking in that. And I just drove by the other day, and it's already cruising along. So it's going to be awesome. Other than that, Hope everybody has a great 4th. I don't think we get together till July 21st, right? So almost
July 14th workshop.
14th workshop.
Right.
It's almost a month. So hopefully our teachers are enjoying summer. Everybody enjoy the fireworks. Remember, don't play with fireworks in your hands. Put them on the ground and blow them up. That's my safety.
I don't have to do one then.
There you go. Don't hold fireworks.
Don't put fireworks in your hand and set them off.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I would agree with that 100%.
You're good. Thanks, y'all.
Mr. Tatum,
You sure you don't want to go before me?
He's going to make us cry again.
are you really going to play video?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go,
All right.
because that always gets to people.
Yeah,
And
this
it's hard to follow those acts, you know.
This is the best one yet, trust me.
Oh, okay.
This is the
Well, first of all, on our agenda, I wanted to point out that was a new item that we did no, it wasn't a new, it was on a consent. Item number 2, so 9.2, is the agreement between New College and the school district for teacher intern program. I'm so glad we got that. We've talked about things like that, and we've solidified it. And then when you talk about MTC, you look at our agenda again, agreement between the school district and Manatee Memorial Hospital. The students can't learn everything at the campus at MTC. They have to go out into the real world and get real life experiences. So we do that with a hospital, dental assisting or whatever. Those students go to those dentists. One of them was at my dentist one time, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'll see you at graduation, I guess. So that's kind of cool. And then paramedic. They have to be out somewhere with these crews as they're learning the ropes of what their life is going to become. So it's a lot. And I just wanted to highlight some of those things because so often we just go through the consent. And thank you for the kind words, Mr. Kennedy. It all comes down to the board doing their work behind the scenes at their briefings and the cabinet providing all information and getting back to us individually for questions. And I did thoroughly enjoy the one-on-one for the Capitol. Yeah, we have challenges. I think we'll find solutions to everything that we talked about. I'm really not worried about that. And you talked about change, Mr. Choate. If you don't do change, you become stagnant and stale. So you constantly got to look at different things to attract. And we have so many things that we can bring to our community. And the partnerships, they go without saying. We were all at the ribbon cutting, or the groundbreaking, I guess. And it was very impactful for that community. There were people there from the community. They wanted to see what was going on. And I've heard nothing but positive about that. So, and 2, when you talk about new ideas, I was at the nurse pinning while everybody was in a tornado. I don't know where everyone else, but I went to the nurse pinning this morning, and we're sitting on this stage, and to see the slideshow of the students, you gotta kind of crank your head around and look up, which is a little difficult, so I brought it to their attention to put a screen and the information on the back wall of the information booth. The people on the stage, maybe not all the way down, but the people running the program can see where that slideshow is and when it stops and when to get up and all that. So I made that kind of observation and suggestion. Not only, it wasn't just me, it was Dr. Gilroy too. So I hope we can get that done pretty quick. But all of those things that we do as a community all comes down to the person that's going to come help you in any kind of form, medical, attorneys, judges. You don't know, but it all starts in K through 12 and then on from there. So I'm pretty proud of what we have going on here and look forward to what the next year brings us. And I just want to congratulate all the students from MTC this year. And I won't be able to attend tomorrow, but I understand your son will be there, so give him my personal congratulations.
I sure will.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
So other than that, we have had a busy busy month if you look at my calendar, but I look forward to taking that little bit of break for this kind of work, but continue to do the work outside the district. So thank you very much. Mr. Tatum.
Okay. So we have one very important piece of business we need to take care of here, and we have to give Mr. Choate a new call sign. So I was reading James Mattis's biography the other day, and when he was a colonel, he got a call sign, and it was given to him by his staff, and the call sign was CHAOS, right? C-H-A-O-S, and it stands for Colonel has another outstanding suggestion. So I saw his name, I'm like, that works?
It does.
Choate has another outstanding suggestion.
There you go.
Call sign CHAOS.
That'll work.
Right, so we got that taken care of. Everybody needs a good call sign.
I think we all need call signs.
That's right. Now it worked perfectly. Either name works, Chad or Cho. They both work. So.
Beautiful.
That's so cool.
Okay, so thank you to Laura and Danielle for another great meeting and another great workshop.
Yep.
Those always run well. There were a number of pinnings that I have been to since our last meeting, whether they were fire, EMT, dental, nursing, all kinds of good stuff going on. So MTC's doing a heck of a job over there. All right, and so now, yes, I have a video. Last time did I talk about happiness and virtue and like which one would come first and the difference between the two of them?
I think you did touch on
Yeah.
it, yeah.
So just as a reminder, as parents, we all tell our kids, at least my mom's told me all her life, Richard, I just want you to be happy, right? And I thought about that. I'm like, yeah, Mom, but how about you'd ask for virtue for me, right? Like to help me be a better person, because being a better person first leads to happiness. The other way around, people that aren't virtuous tend to bring a lot of unhappiness to themselves and other people. But if we get the virtue thing right first, that's how we increase our chances for happiness. And then when we have unhappy times, we handle them better. So this video is kind of a combination of Memorial Day and then July the 4th, because we were trying to get out of here on the last meeting for Memorial Day. And so I need to set up the video for you. I've mentioned this gentleman before. This is Guy Gruder's POW, 5 years and 3 months in North Vietnam. What you're going to see is a video of his homecoming. I mean, a little video of his homecoming. And so what's happened is he's literally flown back into the United States of America. He's flown into an Air Force base in Alabama. One of his squadron mates who was not captured, who had come home from Vietnam, that his fellow co-pilot, you might say, or fellow pilot, and his wife drive out to the flight line. So Sandy, his wife, is in the car, right? So they go out to the flight line, they get Guy. Again, he's just flown in from overseas, right? His first time back. So they go pick him up, they drive, so Sandy's in the car, his wife, and he's in the car. They drive back to what are called visiting officers' quarters area that are set up for Guy and his family. And so what you're gonna see is the video as he I can't even get through it right now. You're going to see this video. I know. And usually I'm not like that, right? I'm supposed to be a pilot. I'm supposed to be under control. But it's so powerful. But anyway, you're going to see that. And just so you set it up, so his wife gets out of the car. She's already seen him. The first person he's going to hug is his younger brother. But it's not Terry. Remember I told you Terry was his younger brother who went over there and flew B-52s and bombed Hanoi and got the North Vietnamese to the table. And part of that agreement was to get the prisoners home. So he actually came out and literally was his brother's keeper, right? I'm going over there to get my brother back over here. Anyway, the first person you see is going to be his younger brother. And then he's so happy to see his younger brother, he's not going to let him go. The second person you're going to see is his dad, like, son, there's some other people here you need to say hello to. So the second person you're going to see is his dad. He's going to hug his dad. The third person you're going to see him hug is his mother, right? Like literally, I mentioned Lazarus in our workshop. Like this is like a Lazarus moment, right? Getting your son back from the dead. And then some other people, there are cousins and other members of the family and friends. But then the last two people you're going to see are his two little girls who haven't seen him for over 5 years. They were 2 and 4 when he leaves, and now they're 7 and 9. And so with that set up, you can play the video. Ms. Cox.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
This is his mom now.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
You can stop it, Lord. You can stop it, Laura. There we go. Oh, that faded it out. That was beautiful. So I'll make one last comment there, and that is, I was this close to getting his brother Terry here today, right? But believe it or not, the guy's like, "Hey, Rich, I'm still working at the age of 78. I'm not going to make it." Wouldn't it have been cool to have Terry in the room, like his brother here, for that? The guy who flew the B-52 and help get him back home. But I know it was a good video and it was emotional and everything, but it does help to make the point that, he was raised in a school where they really did focus on teaching him how to virtue. He went to a Catholic school, right? And then he went to the Air Force Academy, Guy did. And all those things combined so that when he got in that situation, because he actually thought about killing himself, he was going to take revenge on his captors and all that. But at some point he got it, he figured out, he's like, no, I have to hold this together, right? And he started praying, and he said, I stopped hating my captors, and then I started praying for them, and then I got to the point where I could say, "Forgive them, Father, they don't know what they're doing." And all that comes together so that because he was virtuous, when he got himself into that crucible moment, he was able to come out of it and bring a lot of happiness back home, because he had his 2 little girls there. He had 5 more kids when he got back. He's still married. He's been married for 62 years. And I think in 2012, he and his wife adopted another child to make 8 children. And his brother was very similar. His brother had the same experience, went to the Catholic school, then went to the Air Force Academy, then flew B-52s. His brother has 6 children, I believe, all after he got back. And he and his wife were married for 50 years. And unfortunately, she passed away a couple of years ago. And if you remember, I asked all of them to include James Stockdale. I didn't ask him, but he wrote this. It was another senior POW. Would you go back and change anything? And the answer is no. And if happiness is the meaning of life, then those guys are crazy, because they could have stopped a lot of unhappiness. But what I figured out is no, because it helped me become more virtuous as a human being, what I went through. And because of that, I can bring more happiness to myself, to my family, and everybody else around me. And that's a really good lesson for the 4th of July, is that the way we keep this country strong is for each one of us individually to become more virtuous. And that's why the leader-teacher thing, Dr. Breslin, is important, because that's how it starts at the top with us. And that's why I do these. This is an example of leader-teacher stuff, right? It starts at the top, and then we just keep pushing it down farther and farther, into the system. And so everybody becomes, to some degree, a leader-teacher. So may the Lord bless and keep us, make his face to shine upon us, bring us prosperity and peace. God bless us. And on this 4th of July, may God bless this greatest country on God's green earth, the United States of America. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Tu. With that, Board, at 6:38 p.m., I will adjourn this long day of meeting.